Welcome to Beating Cancer Daily. Beating stage 4 cancer for 30 years still takes my breath away every time I say it. I'm Saranne, founder of the Comedy Cures Foundation, and I hope you'll join me for just a few minutes daily for the next 365 days so we may laugh, learn, maybe cry a little as we live our best days beating cancer daily together. I was playing around online and I got to this place where I read something that your body is like a burnt piece of toast, that everyday normal metabolism, pollution, UV rays, smoking can crank up the numbers of free radicals in your system, and that it makes stable molecules basically go haywire, turn into like a chaotic partner. And another example was like a bad hair day, but some of us don't have hair when we go through chemo treatment, so that's a funny idea. Could be a no hair day. Free radicals get messed up and it makes them dysfunctional, prone to premature aging, kind of grumpy. And then you have these antioxidants, and they're like your superheroes, and they're found in fruits and vegetables. And wow, they burst onto the scene with an electron, and that neutralizes the free radical, this grumpy, dysfunctional cell, and it makes it work for you, not against you. And so if you listen to the antioxidant episode, we go into this in detail, but there's more than one ALA. So today is a great day because I get to welcome back Jacqui Bryan. And if you have never listened to an episode of Beating Cancer Daily, there are over 400 of them as of today, but over a fourth of them have been with a very dear friend, a functional medicine expert, certified nutrition specialist, whole health educator, certified health coach, and RN, Jacqui Bryan. Welcome, Jacqui.
Hi, Saranne. Thanks for having me. Over 100 and I don't even know what, 110, 120?
More than that by now that you've done it. So I'm so grateful, and everybody loves when you come on. And, you know, it's one day out of 7 days that we get to spend with you, but it's really special time because you have an expertise that I can't speak to, and I learned so much from you. And according to all our listeners in over 140 countries, they learn too. So today you're going to talk about ALA, and I thought you'd already talked about ALA, and then you specified that
I
there's
was messing with you.
yeah, that there's more than one ALA. So I'm going to let you explain why this ALA is important and how we integrate it into our lives.
I think we'll say the full name so that we can prevent some confusion. I think we've done a podcast in the past on alpha-linolenic acid, and that is an essential omega-3 that we have to get in our diet. And it's a wonderful anti-inflammatory. It's super important for health, especially for those individuals that are immunocompromised. But today we are talking about another ALA, which is alpha-lipoic acid. And alpha-lipoic acid is actually a synthesized antioxidant in the body. And while that may sound complex, when you hear the word antioxidant, I don't know about you, but I get excited because as someone that was diagnosed with cancer 22, almost 23 years ago, I know that antioxidants can neutralize free radicals. Free radicals are the things that can lead to diseases like cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. So I want to know all the foods, all the things that can help prevent this type of inflammation that can happen.
I love when you say it because every year that we do the podcast, you add another year to how long you've been alive and then how long cancer free. And I know for me, I was diagnosed in 1999 after being misdiagnosed for 6 years. And I have been considered cancer free since July 2002. So together, the amount of decades of being cancer-free that we have after beating back cancer, it's really inspirational for me to hear another person say it. So, and you're so beautiful, Jacqui, and you look so healthy. So when you say that I need ALA and I need the other ALA, like I am listening because you really look so healthy.
You are so sweet. Thank you for saying that. When you were just talking, and I know this is a little off topic, which is typically what you and I do, I was thinking about the connection that cancer survivors have. I was thinking about there's sort of an instant sisterhood. Like it's that exclusive club that you never want to belong to. But when you do belong to it, these girlfriends and these connections and this type of communication becomes such an important lifeline. I know that when I was diagnosed with cancer, I had a friend, Elisa, who we were diagnosed a week apart. And I don't think I would have gotten through the cancer journey without her because we literally had everything, almost the exact same treatment. And to just have somebody else that was walking in the same shoes as I was meant the world to me because no one could really understand. No one really got it. And if you're living with cancer or if you're in treatment, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like it's hard to relate to people that haven't been through the experience. And not that you're wishing it on anybody. You're not wanting anybody to go through a cancer diagnosis, but it's lonely. It can feel really lonely.
Yeah, we have a lot of men who listen too. So I want to make sure that I also honor. I think it's even harder for the guys because there isn't as much support for them. And also, society teaches a stiff upper lip for a lot of men.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
changing a lot. But it's even more important that you find a support system or a way to connect. And I think that's what this podcast is doing globally, worldwide. It's giving listeners a way to connect with us and then knowing that there are listeners all over the world who are also in the hot seat with us and going through the same daily decisions, the same rigorous treatments. And so I'm just so blessed that we are asked to do this every day because we are serving that need of connection and hope and information that's science based. So I just want to shout out to wherever you are listening in the world. Thank you for joining us. It is an honor to be in dialogue with you every day. And we do consider this a dialogue, even though now we're going to listen to Jacqui shed her wisdom. Like, thanks, Jack.
It is a connection, a special connection wherever you are in the world, whatever type of cancer that you have. Saranne and I identified gaps, right? Gaps in the healthcare system, gaps in people's social support, just gaps. And that's what we're trying to address. We're trying to fill those holes in a way that's meaningful and hopefully offers some tidbit of information to help people maybe make one different, healthier choice each day.
Jacqui, because of you, we have listeners around the world who don't even have cancer. They tune in because they want this wellness wisdom that you have. It is a master class in staying healthy. And so I just want to thank you for that. Now we are helping people who find out about us because they're a caregiver of someone who has cancer. So they listen to vet it to see if it would be something that would work for their loved one. And then they continue listening because the strategies are just good health practice for everyone. And that was never the intention when I was asked to do this. It was really to focus completely on the cancer community. But you have opened it up as great health advice for people who are just wanting to live a healthier life. And I wanted to really acknowledge and appreciate that.
Yeah, the stuff that we talk about, Sarin, is good for everyone. And I think that's important to note. And I think that can actually even level the playing field a little bit for some cancer patients saying, oh, it's got to be special just for me. Well, no, this so much of what we talk about is beneficial for anyone and everyone that is looking to improve their health. So let's dive into alpha-lipoic acid, ALA, not to be confused with alpha-linolenic acid, which is an omega 3, right? So we're talking about alpha-lipoic acid, which is a natural organosulfur compound, and it's found in every cell in your body. And it can actually help turn glucose, which is sugar, into energy, and it acts as a very powerful antioxidant. So there's several wonderful functions of this antioxidant. It neutralizes those harmful free radicals that we talked about. And if you can imagine it being a secret weapon in your body. It goes after those free radicals. It's like a scavenger. It takes care of them and eliminates them. It can actually slow aging. It can help manage diabetes. And it's unique because it's both water and fat soluble, which means it can work in different parts of your cells. And I think that makes it one of a kind. So I think that's absolutely amazing.
I get the visual image of like that Pac-Man game,
Yeah.
like just Pac-Manning away all the free radicals. I come from a family where blindness is prevalent, and I am under the impression that this can help with eyesight also.
Yes, it definitely has an impact on eye health. We talked a little bit about it in the eye health podcast that we did a while ago. And we know that it has benefits for your eyes and also for your brain in general. I think it's important for us to understand that we actually make a little bit of this in our body, right? So to me, this is cool. Like you're already making alpha lipoic acid. So, whew, take a deep breath. That's exciting.
I know a lot of times you tell us we have to get it through eating certain things, but what a miracle that your body is already trying to do this, but I'm sure we can assist it.
Yes, and then here's the but. So, yes, you make it, but if we consume foods that have alpha lipoic acid in it, we can make it even stronger in our body. And that's the point. So, one of the things that I want to mention, we did a comparison between alpha lipoic acid and alpha linolenic acid. Alpha linolenic acid is the omega 3. That is an essential nutrient. That means you have to get that in your diet. You need that. Alpha lipoic acid is not essential. And the reason it's not essential is because you do make some of it. But I'm explaining today that you can actually make it better for your body by consuming foods that are going to provide you with the ALA, the alpha lipoic acid, and it will give you the opportunity to boost that even further, which would be very beneficial for overall health.
And I know, Jacqui, that you're going to say that if we eat certain foods that are unhealthy, that it could put us at a disadvantage, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting because I was just reading a study this morning. It was actually summarized in one of the newspapers that I read, and they were talking about the high incidence of colon cancer in young people. And they were talking about the ultra processed foods, and they believe that's one of the culprits for many of the colon cancers that we're seeing in young people. They actually talked about a 21-year-old that had severe GI symptoms. Nobody thought it could be cancer because she was 21, and it was in the paper. I was just so moved by the article. But yes, you're correct. Like ultra processed foods, the sugar, the fake fats, the high sodium, and all of those things are going to wreak havoc on your body. But let's talk for a second about what alpha lipoic acid does, right? We talked about it being one of a kind. First, it supports your nerve health. The ALA, I'll call it ALA, and you know what I'm talking about, the alpha lipoic acid. But ALA can help people with nerve damage, especially those with diabetes. So some of the neuropathies that people actually get can have benefit from taking ALA in their diet. We'll talk about supplementation in a little bit.
Wait, Jacqui, this is really important because I know I had neuropathy from my treatment, and it's one of the biggest complaints after losing your hair that people come to me with this chemo induced neuropathy.
Neuropathy, yeah.
So, if this could potentially help with that, would be a huge saving idea.
Yes, yeah, and what's interesting is there is a population of people that should not supplement with ALA, and one of them is people in active chemotherapy. And
That's
so
really good to know.
yes, it's important to know. However, eating the foods that have it in it is not the same because oftentimes the supplements are way more potent than the food, right? So I'm a food first practitioner. That's what I really like to focus in on. But again, getting these in nutritious foods, things like broccoli and spinach. Broccoli and spinach have fiber, they have vitamins and minerals, but they also have alpha-lipoic acid. And again, that's a great antioxidant. So just keeping that in mind, but backtracking just a little bit to talk about the health benefits. It does support nerve health. It does support blood sugar control. In fact, that's what it's really known for. It can help lower blood sugar levels. It makes it really great for people that have diabetes. It protects the cells and the neurons in hormone production, which ultimately will help someone that has diabetes. It's also been known to have an impact on metabolism, which is really helpful. I know I was sort of pushed into menopause in my 30s, and my metabolism changed as a result of that when you see that estrogen drop. So definitely important for us to think about. ALA is also a powerful anti-inflammatory, and it can help with conditions like heart disease, even cancers. Many providers are calling ALA the antidote to oxidative stress, right? Oxidative stress is that byproduct of what happens in your body. Like, what do you do with all the extra waste and all the extra stuff that's happening in there? ALA can be really beneficial. It's also known as something that can protect your skin from damage, and it can improve your skin health. So a little bit of a fountain of youth there. So maybe some of you have been using a topical ALA, alpha lipoic acid, to help with your skin. And it's also known to regenerate other antioxidants. So keep in mind that oftentimes we are a team player. As a team player, ALA can help regenerate antioxidants like vitamin C and E. It's also known to boost glutathione, which is a master antioxidant in our body. It's known to support immune health. So I'm hoping right now you're feeling a little excited about this ALA, right? The alpha lipoic acid, and probably a little bit curious as to where you can get it in food. And I did share with you the greens, right, which are my favorite way to get it in with broccoli and spinach. Broccoli has a good amount of ALA, as do potatoes, right? You can also get ALA from potatoes and tomatoes, right? So you say tomato, I say tomato, you say potato, right? So broccoli, potatoes, tomatoes, right? So let's add some of those into your diet. You can actually get it in red meat, especially in organ meats like liver and heart. That's not my first choice, but just know that will have ALA in it as well. And then spinach, we already talked about. But one thing we want to think about is the concentrations of ALA in each of these. The challenge is how food is sourced, right? We talk about this on so many different podcasts. The soil it's grown in, what it's been fed, all of these things play a role in the amount of ALA that you're going to get in your body. And the amounts are going to be much lower in certain foods, and especially the way that they are sourced, which is one of the reasons we want to be informed consumers as to really how we're going to get these in. Another way that many individuals are trying is through supplementation. And this is where I put the caution flag up for you. And the caution flag is there because supplementation is something that can have a big impact on the body, both positive and negative. So some of the side effects through supplementation, not necessarily through the spinach, broccoli, potatoes, and tomatoes, but if you are actually supplementing, can be things like insomnia, fatigue, diarrhea, skin rash. I really want to say that my preferred way for you to get this in would be through the food. And you know, we talk about that a lot as a food first practitioner. However, if your medical provider agrees that supplementation is the right thing for you, the dose range is usually from 300 to 600 milligrams a day, but you really should be working with a provider, especially if you are in active treatment. It's usually in a capsule or an injection. The best way to take it is on a empty stomach, because if you do take it with food, it can actually impede the way it is absorbed. So food first, that's what we're focusing on to get the ALA in. If your provider agrees that a supplementation is a good idea for you, usually 300 to 600 milligrams, it can be in a capsule or injection. But again, this is to be done with your provider's consent, especially if you're in treatment.
So I just want to make sure you understand that at the end, we're not making a pitch for supplements. We're not sponsored by a supplement company. So it's really important to me that when Jacqui does these episodes, it's really coming from a pure perspective and not from trying to hustle some kind of supplement to you. The other thing I was going to say is I heard that when you do take an ALA supplement, it can make your pee smell like sulfur, like that
Mhm.
weird smell. So just know you're not dying if you smell that sulfury smell.
That's a good thing to note, right? Is some of the side that would be a side effect of actually taking a supplement. There are some drug interactions with taking ALA, and so I like to put a note here as to who probably shouldn't take a supplement of ALA. I think consuming the foods that have ALA in it are probably safe for most people. But again, supplementation would be something you would have a conversation with your provider. So if you have a history of a thyroid disorder or you're taking thyroid medications like levothyroxine or Synthroid, you probably want to talk to your provider before supplementing. If you're taking medications for diabetes or insulin control, we know that this medication can lower blood sugar, right? So if you're taking medication that can lower your blood sugar, it might be contraindicated as well. Those individuals that have a thiamine deficiency, and thiamine is actually B1, and that is associated with liver disease and alcohol abuse. And so, again, this may not be the right supplement for you. And then, lastly, most importantly, especially for this podcast, is if you're recovering from chemotherapy treatment or you're taking any cancer medications, we really want to be able to make sure that we check with our provider first because it can be contraindicated for that population.
It's super cool that it's fat and water soluble. It really is a superhero, Jacqui.
I think so too. I think so too, because it's not always the case, right? So when you think about fat soluble vitamins, that's A, D, E, and K, but they're only fat soluble. And then when you think about water soluble vitamins, those are things like our B vitamins, C vitamins, those are water soluble, but they're not both. But this is actually both, which means it can operate in different parts of the cells, which I think is very cool.
And if you really like this kind of information, you should definitely go back and hear Jacqui's antioxidant episode. And a good refresher is always to go back to her label detective episode so you make sure that you aren't putting things that could actually hurt your absorption into your body. This is so interesting, Jacqui. There's a funny quip online. Instead of hallelujah, when they talk about ALA, it's hallelujah.
Oh,
Because it is so exciting to know that we could be eating different foods that could really bring this and enhance ALA in our system. So, hallelujah.
hallelujah. I think it's empowering, Saranne, when you think about how cancer hijacks our life. And if we can take back 1 ounce of control, and that could be just what we put in our mouth, which would make the difference. I'm all for that. And that's one of the reasons we're doing what we're doing is to help people feel empowered.
Yeah, I always feel empowered. I'm excited by each episode that I hear. I have to listen to them multiple times and I just get them ingrained in me as part of the production process here. But it is so fun. If you are getting ALA into your system in a way that we did not speak about, a food group that you have found, then just go to comedycures.org and hit the contact menu or go to the podcast section and record a message. I would love to hear how you're doing it and I will share it with Jacqui. We love when you write in. I want to thank my recurring guest, Jacqui Bryan, and say, I will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day. If you loved today's episode, then tell the world. Why? Because Beating Cancer Daily is a listener and donor supported experience. So the more people you tell and the more people that join us, the more robust and interesting programs our nonprofit, the Comedy Cures Foundation, can bring to you throughout the year. So if you have some extra change, I'd love you to go to comedycures.org and make a donation today of whatever level is comfortable for you. And it will be tax deductible to the extent allowed by law, because Comedy Cures is a nonprofit 501c3 organization founded from my chemo chair, April 1999, and we've been going strong ever since. So please consider making a donation today and help our community and this podcast thrive. Guess what time it is? It's time for me to read the disclaimer. Beating Cancer Daily and the membership circle are not in lieu of medical advice or treatment. They are for entertainment purposes only. Please consult your healthcare team to review your best strategy. Thanks for listening. See you guys tomorrow.